Holidays are here, right? Hanukkah, Christmas, New Year's, and then Tatsuya Imai's posting day, January the 2nd. Are the Cubs going to pony up the money to pay for the Japanese star? We're going to talk about that. 2016 was 10 years ago. And my World Series ring barely fits my fingers anymore. I can't believe it's 10 years. Those guys, some of our favorite Cubs, are going to be at Cubs Convention this year. Going to give you the list of names that we have and talk about those guys and why we love them so much. One of our favorite Cubs from that team wasn't one of our favorite Cardinals. Now he's on the Red Sox. We can all cheer for him again. And the Cubs add Christian Bethancourt to the roster, but he's got to make the team. So he's got to make it. But we liked him when he was a guy who took over for Yan Gomes a couple years ago. All that on the Cubs baseball channel. Like, subscribe, thumbs up. Be a part of what we're doing here. Hit our QR code and join Mick Nation and AveD. Let's go. What do you say, everybody? Mick Gillespie, Cubs baseball channel. I see that open, and it gets me fired up, man. I think about 40 years as a Cubs fan, covering the Cubs for 20 years, and having the opportunity to have met guys. I see Gary Hughes, who is the special assistant to the GM when I started working with the Cubs, and the best scout ever and an even better person. He's on there. And then Rhino, who is a Cubs legend. And I'm just so grateful that I've had the opportunity to be around special people like those guys. And you guys too, man. Thank you for being here. Like, subscribe, thumbs up, share with your Cubs friends. Thank you for being a part of this. Because as you can tell, I always worked for somebody else. This is our channel. We can say whatever we want. We can do whatever we want here. And that's what's cool, right? Because there's no no handcuffs. But I try to be fair and honest, and you guys know that. Now, I want you guys to join Mick Nation. There's our QR code right there. AveD, that's our Web3 home. We gave away $1,500 for picking quarters for the Alabama-Oklahoma game. We're going to do more stuff like that, and when baseball season comes, you'll have an opportunity to win money there as well. But it's swag like this. It's our place that we stay connected. Now, with all of that said, let's get into the show, because I know some of you guys are like, I don't want to hear this. Okay. All right, right off the bat, Tatsuya Imai price tag could cost the Cubs. At least that's according to our friends at The Athletic, including our good buddy Patrick Mooney, basically saying that the Cubs are not sure, at least that's what they're putting out, that Imai is going to be an ace, right? And if you're going to pay for an ace, you want an ace. So we don't know. None of us know, because he's never pitched in the major leagues. And it could be just your basic, I'm going to try to make your value as low as I can, and you're going to try to make it as high as you can, and maybe we're going to get it here, right? The rumored teams, what was it, December 17th, you hear from some MLB insiders that it's between the Yankees and the Cubs. We talked about that. Then you got the Yankees saying, hey, we haven't met with him yet. At least that's what they're putting out. And then now it's like, it feels like the Mets are in this. The Red Sox are in this. I would not count the Yankees out. And the Cubs are in this. And he's projected all over the place. But if he ends up at, 198 years, Cubs probably aren't going to pay that, right? The Cubs have never spent over $155 million for a pitcher before. But Imai, obviously a guy who comes in, we've talked about him. You go watch the show yesterday, all the things that he brings to the table. Trey Savage comparisons, kind of has that gyro slider that he throws. His fastball is a swing and miss pitch. He can get it up to 99, throws a ton of innings. He, to me, feels like he's going to be a pretty good pitcher. Now, sometimes guys from Japan come over. The baseball is a little bit different. It takes some time for them to get used to the league. But what we've seen with Shota Imanaga, and obviously with Sasaki and Yamamoto with the Dodgers and other teams too, is that these guys come over and they're good. And the Cubs need someone to put at the top of that rotation, right? So, I mean, you're talking about Cade Horton and Justin Steele. Both guys are really good, but both guys have a history of injuries. And you hope that they can stay healthy. Imai would be a guy that you would put up there. You got Shota, you got Matthew Boyd, you got Jamison Tyone. I mean, you can go down Colin Ray. I mean, the Cubs would have a lot of options, but they really want to add someone to the top of the rotation that is a difference maker. This guy has, as we talked about, and you can go watch the show again from yesterday, has been in the Japanese Baseball League, right? The Nippon Professional Baseball League, NPB. He's been amazing. So I think that's going to translate, and we'll see if the Cubs are going to be willing to put the money down to get him. If they're betting and it turns into a war with the Yankees, I would guess that the Yankees could probably win that. Mets, same thing with the Mets. But the Mets got hit with such a high tax for being over the barrier. I'm guessing if I'm them, I'm probably thinking like, you know what, man, I don't have the stomach to go too far over that. You know, the Yankees were third, but they were way below the Mets. And then the Dodgers just don't give a crap. They don't care. They're going to spend as much money. They want to win World Series. I wish the Cubs were in that spot. I wish Marquee was successful like the Dodgers TV network, where it just powered them to be able to go out and spend whatever they want, right? But that's just not the world we live in. So we'll see what happens here. Now, if the Cubs don't sign Imai, I mean, don't think that it's the end of the world. I mean, I really feel like Zach Gallen is a very, very serious contender to be part of the rotation. I like him. I've seen him at his best. I know last year wasn't that. Maybe you get him at a discount because he did take a step back, but Bob Nightingale wouldn't have just thrown out there that he thought he signed with the Cubs and totally swung and missed. He obviously had sources that told him that. And I think that there is some potential in that particular deal. Now, you also have Framber Valdez and you got, you know, other guys too that the Cubs could potentially sign to be at the top of the rotation. They're going to sign somebody to be a starter at the top of the rotation, right? Who that person is, you know, is your guess and mine. But if the best part about Imai is that we got, you know, January 2nd and it's over and you'll know. So either going to sign before that, maybe a couple days before that, who knows? Cubs convention is coming. Spent time at the Cubs convention, hosted panels at the Cubs convention. Have enjoyed the Cubs convention. Love it. One of the really fun times of the year. And this year's Cubs convention is a 2016 reunion, which is crazy to me. Although I tried to put my World Series ring on and my fingers have gotten fatter since then. So it doesn't fit really. I love this team, and it doesn't matter what happens in their careers, where they go. They can play for the Cardinals. They can play for whoever, and I'm still going to pull for them. So now we know that Anthony Rizzo is going to be there. He's a Cubs ambassador. Here's the other guys who are listed as 2016 World Series champs that are going to be in attendance, right? Albert Almora Jr., remember him tagging up in Game 7? Always loved Almora Jr. He's going to be there. Trevor Cahill, Chris Coughlin, C.J. Edwards, Carl Edwards Jr., the string bean slinger. Love that guy. He's going to be there. Dexter Fowler. I was at spring training when they were like, Dexter Fowler just showed up. We thought he signed with Baltimore. That was kind of like part of that whole magical season. And you don't win it without him. He pops in on marquee sometimes. He's really good. Justin Grimm, one of my favorite guys on that team, big Georgia Bulldog guy, broadcasted his games in college and then in the major leagues, which is pretty cool as a play-by-play guy. Jason Hamill, Kyle Hendricks, just retired, but he's not retired from being a World Series champion, man. Think about that young whippersnapper, a rookie that year, pitched Game 6 to get us in the World Series, beating the Dodgers, and then pitched Game 7 of the World Series and did a great job. Jason Hayward gave the speech. John Lackey, that crusty veteran that had won, and then we signed him from the Cardinals, and he comes in and, you know, he's grumpy, ready to win. John Lester, when he signed with the Cubs, that was I think one of the biggest moments of the Theo Epstein era in Chicago, and really helped the Cubs. He was so good. Miguel Montero had some huge hits, including driving in that second run, that insurance run in the World Series that turned out to be the difference maker. Mike Montgomery got the final out of the World Series, got the save. Anthony Rizzo, mentioned him. Pedro Strop, him and Jake Arrieta in that trade with Baltimore turned out to be a huge deal for the Cubs. Matt Caesar, love Caesar. He's one of my favorite all-time Cubs people, man. Such an interesting guy. He's funny. He's cool. Woody, Travis Wood's going to be there. Ben Zobrist, one of the nicest men I've ever met in my life, in the World Series MVP. So all those guys are going to be at Cubs convention. Who are you guys most excited about meeting? My first ever baseball card was me interviewing Ben Zobrist. How cool is that? And then he signed it. So one of the keepsakes of this career. So I love all these guys. So okay, talking about 2016 World Series Cubs, one guy that won't be there is Willson Contreras, but he won't be with the Cardinals anymore. He was traded to the Red Sox. That happened yesterday. So he's not going to be at the Cubs convention, but he's one of the only rookie catchers in baseball history to start Game 7 of the World Series. Remember, he didn't finish the game. That was when Joe was like pulling all the different, chords and stuff, but he got traded. So I feel like it's going to be a lot easier pulling for him now that he's with the Red Sox and not with the Cardinals. Sorry, Cardinals fans. Now, talking about catchers, Cubs did go out and add a catcher to the roster, and that is Christian Bethancourt. You remember Bethancourt? He helped the Cubs replace Yan Gomes, who had just basically run out of gas in 2024, right? He's a 34-year-old as of early September, had a 24-game stint with the Cubs, and I was surprised that the Cubs didn't really bring him back after that, but 59 plate appearances. He hit .281 with 3 home runs and 15 runs batted in, and then he had that 3-hit, 7-run batted in game and a win in August over the Pirates that year, which was pretty cool. He gets $1.6 million, according to John Heyman, if he makes the team. But, making the team, that's going to be tough to do because you got Carson Kelly and you got Miguel Amaya. Now, who knows if those guys are going to be with the team when opening day happens. And I've said it before, look, if I was the Cubs, I'd go to Baltimore and figure out what I could do to get Adley Rutschman, because they got 2 catchers now. And I've heard, well, maybe he's going to play first. Look, let's get him and let him catch for us, Rutschman, right? And then maybe you have Carson Kelly and Rutschman, right? Kelly had such a great season last year, but for him to follow that up offensively is, probably not going to happen. But I'd love it to, right? His statistics tell us it's probably not, but our hearts tell us, please hit like you did last year. All right, that's it for the show. Again, guys, Avenue D, that's our Web3 home. Hit that QR code. Join Mick Nation. Some of you guys do every day. You get to pick stuff. You get to pick games and win things. It's all free. It's fun. And we're working on building this every single day. So thank you for being here, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.